Ladies and gentlemen, happy Monday. It is September 23rd, 2013. My name is Paul Hutchings, and I'm dialing in from beautiful southeast Idaho, from my home office, sitting here just excited about the day, excited about life, excited about seeing something better in my future for myself, excited that I'm on the line right now with hundreds of people dialing in throughout the world who are also seeing something better in their futures for themselves, and I'm especially excited because today, my friends, today, if we are all open, if we are all humble, if we are all ready to receive the information that might come to us over the course of the next 30 to 60 minutes, we are going to learn how to see whatever it is we're seeing in our futures in a more clear, in a more precise, in a more powerful way. And as we're going to learn today, as we tune in and listen in, this is one of the most powerful things that we can do to step into something better, to step into something better. And if there's one thing that I feel I'm 100% sure of, if there's one thing that I can come on the line this morning and say, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're living in, no matter how much money you're making, no matter what your background is, no matter how much skill you have or how much skill you don't have, if there's one thing I feel that I can promise you on the line this morning, it is you have something better waiting for you in your future. And I feel that it is my mission, it is my purpose to help you step into that better future. And the very cool thing, the very beautiful thing is I am not alone in that. We have hundreds of people on the line who are here today gathered to help you see a better future and step into that better future. And I don't know if there's anything else that could pump me up more than that. I want to know if you're excited about that. I'm going to go ahead and unmute the lines, and when I do, if you're excited about seeing something better, if you're excited about taking better action in your life, if you're excited about fulfilling the purpose of your existence, I want to hear you scream into the phone as I unmute the lines right now. Well, thank you. You, my friends, are just awesome. You're just perfect. Thank you for being so great this morning. You know, it's interesting. Saturday morning, I was having a little private mastermind session with my team, and towards the end of the call, I shared with them my personal testimony of what we're going to talk about today, and I shared with my personal team how powerful it is and how this is one of the most important things that we can do in our lives to continually get better. And isn't it interesting that Saturday morning we had that conversation, and this morning I wake up and open up to the chapter we're going to cover today, chapter 8 of the Science of Getting Rich, which is entitled Thinking in a Certain Way, and it covers that exact thing that we were talking about Saturday. It helps me to understand it on a deeper level. It makes me smile as I realize that the information that we cover together, my friends, is life-changing, and that this stuff really can help us move forward in more powerful ways. I want to share with everyone a couple of thoughts before we jump into the chapter this morning. I want to share with everyone, first off, a couple of quotes. And these are really good quotes. I would challenge everyone to maybe put these in your memory bank. Write them down if you need to. Think about these from time to time, and they're directly related to what we're going to talk about today. The first one comes from a book that some of you might be familiar with called the Bible. Pretty famous book. I think it's actually the #1 selling book throughout the course of history, right? Might be some good stuff in there. There's a quote from the Bible that says, "Without vision, the people perish." I'm going to say that again. Without vision, the people perish. While you're thinking about that, while that's percolating around in your brain and I'm thinking about that, I want to share with you another quote. This quote comes from a man by the name of Mr. Rick Martin, who's one of our dear mastermind callers, has been on the call for probably nearly the entire duration we've been doing this call, which is over 3 years now. And I remember one day Rick Martin said something that I wrote down in my journal and I've thought about from time to time as I've thought about this very topic that we're going to talk about today. And here's what Rick Martin said. He said, "Without faith in the future, there is no power in the present. I'll say it again. Without faith in the future, there is no power in the present. So without vision, the people perish, and without faith in the future, there is no power in the present. We're starting to realize, we're starting to understand that one of the most powerful things, possibly the most powerful thing that we can do as individuals, that we can do as entrepreneurs to step into our better futures is to step number one, see ourselves in a better future. As I was driving home from the gym this morning, I was thinking about something that I've heard from time to time. A lot of times in the entrepreneurial world, we talk about skeptics every once in a while, and we talk about how sometimes skeptics will say things we don't agree with, like, I'll believe it when I see it, and we kind of snap back and we'll say, no, that's not right. You'll see it when you believe it. And we'll jump back and we'll say stuff like that. And as I was thinking about that this morning, I was thinking, is that true? Do you really have to believe it first and then you see it? Or is it the other way around? You see it first, then you believe it, and then you see it again. And I think it might be a little bit more accurate to say we do have to see it before we believe it. The trick is, the secret is, we can see it in our minds. We can see it in our imagination. We can have a spiritual creation before the physical creation. And that's what we're doing, my friends, when we take time out and we think about, how do I visualize in a better way? How do we have vision so that we do not perish? How do we have faith in the future so we can have power in the present? And that's what we're going to talk about today. And as I was thinking about the chapter this morning, my friends, I cannot help but reflect back on a couple of experiences that I've had in my life, and I want to share these with everybody. I remember back in 2005, I had just gotten into the home business profession, and I remember the very first network marketing company that I was a part of, which I failed at for 12 months straight, didn't make any money. And some people say, what a failure, you didn't make any money. I'll tell you what, Dr. Napoleon Hill says that our greatest successes come from some of our greatest setbacks. And he says that in the midst of what appear to be our greatest struggles, our seeds, our advantages, our assets, that if we look and we find them and we locate them, they can be used to leverage something far greater in our futures. And as I look back on that very first journey, that very first network marketing journey back in 2005, where I didn't make any money for 12 months straight, I'm thinking to myself, what was the asset that I gained from that experience? Well, there's one thing that stands at the head of the list, and that is that network marketing company had a recommended reading list. It was a sheet of paper. There were probably 10 to 15 books on that list, and I remember some of the books. Think and Grow Rich was on that book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad was on that book. Psycho-Cybernetics was on that book. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl was on that list. There were a whole list of great books, and even though I did not make any money that first 12 months, I started to open my mind, and I started to expand my vision and expand my soul, and I started on a path of personal development that would lead me to years later having more success than I honestly ever even really imagined when I first got started. When I first got started, all I could see is $3,000 a month. That's all I wanted. Replace my income at my job, not have to have a job, be able to pay my bills, have a little bit of money for my family, have a little bit of freedom. It's all I could see, right? And that little recommended reading list, I believe, was an asset that catapulted me into some great success. So anyway, back to what I'm sharing with you. So 2005, I'm checking out these books, and I'm reading Think and Grow Rich. And I remember reading this book for the very first time, learning about the definite major purpose and the self-confidence formula, and I remember writing out my very first definite major purpose and self-confidence formula. In fact, as I'm thinking about this now, I remember I was I remember having the sheet of paper. I remember sitting in the master bedroom in the south side of the single wide trailer house that I was living in back in 2005. I remember at night I would lay down on my bed and I would look over to my left where I had a little nightstand, and I remember I had the sheet of paper that had my first major definite purpose, which was $3,000 a month. By the first day of, such and such, I will have in my possession $3,000 monthly income, and it will come to me in various amounts from time to time during the interim. In exchange for this money, I will give the most efficient service of which I am capable, rendering the fullest possible quantity and the best possible quality of service in the capacity of, and then I would state whatever, business I was engaged in, and then I would say, I believe I will have this money in my possession. My faith is so strong, I can see it before my eyes. I can touch it with my hands. It is now awaiting transfer to me at the time and in the proportion that I deliver the service I intend to render in return for it. I am awaiting a plan by which to accumulate this money, and I will follow that plan when it is received. That's what I would say to myself back in 2005. Here's the interesting thing. I didn't hit that major definite purpose. Fast forward a few years, back in 2010, I'm rediscovering the book Think and Grow Rich. I'm still living in a single wide trailer house. 5 years have gone by, right? No more business success. In fact, this time in 2010, 5 years later, I'm struggling. I've quit my job. We have a few $100s a month coming in, right? Still living in a trailer. But this time, when I first set the major definite purpose, I was newly married. I didn't have any children. Now, I've got kids, right? I've got a family to support. Things are a little bit more serious now. My third son has a $50,000 head surgery that's coming up. So this time in 2010, I'm a little bit more serious with my Think and Grow Rich, with my major definite purpose, with my self-confidence formula. This time, when I walk outside my trailer house and I'm walking up and down my driveway in the morning and in the night and I'm looking up at the stars and I'm saying out loud my major definite purpose and my self-confidence formula, this time something is different. This time, as a matter of fact, there are two things that are different from when I started doing this in 2010 from when I tried to do it in 2005. And here's the two differences. In 2010, when I started to say, my faith is so strong, I can see this money before my eyes, I can touch it with my hands. Here's what would happen to me as I was walking up and down my driveway in 2010. In my mind, I would close my eyes and I would actually see the checks with the company name in the top left. In fact, there were two checks because I was working on two streams of income at the time, and I could see the name of the company in the top left. I could see my name on the check on both of them. And when I would say, my faith is so strong, I can see this money in my mind, I can touch it with my hands, I would literally reach out my hands and I would clamp my fingers together and I would touch the checks. And I could see them. I could see them. That was difference number one. I actually could see the money. I could touch it with my hands. The other difference is I didn't just do it for a few days and forget about it. I did it every day, every morning and every night for a period of 6 months straight. And I remember one time back in the latter part of 2010, after doing this for several months, I remember logging into the back office of the stream of income that I was working on, and I remember about falling to the ground when I saw the commission report for the previous month was literally the exact amount that I had been seeing in my mind for the last few months, minus a $2 check cancellation fee. And I remember getting to my goal of $3,000 a month after doing this for a period of a few months. And then I remember a few months going by and then stumbling upon in my papers that very first major definite purpose that I'd started setting in 2005, which was the exact same dollar amount, $3,000 a month, 2005. Saw it in my mind for a couple of days and then forgot about it. Go 5 years. My situation doesn't improve. No more money. Still living in a trailer house. But then in 2005, I start to get serious about this faith stuff. I start to get serious about this visualization stuff. And I ask everyone on the line this question. Did I believe it before I saw it, or did I see it before I believed it. I saw it before I believed it, didn't I? It's a little bit different than sometimes what we like to tell ourselves. I saw it before I believed it. The difference is I saw it in my mind. And anything we want to do in life, my friends, whether it's better health, whether it's being a better husband, a better father, a better mother, a better wife, whether it's stepping into a better financial future, whether it's impacting more people, whether it's having business success, whether it's whatever it is, we've got to see it before we believe it, my friends. And we can see it in our minds. We can believe it in our hearts. We're taking action. We're having power in the present, as Rick Martin taught us, because we can see it. On a daily basis, we can see it. We can have faith. We have power. And then that comes to pass. So keep that in mind. We're going to jump into this chapter 8, Thinking in a Certain Way. And then I'm going to share with everyone a little bit how my visualization process has evolved over the last few years. And it's fascinating as I think about the different ways that I visualize and how I'm visualizing today. And I read this chapter this morning, and it's fascinating to me to realize that the most powerful way I've come across the visualization is taught to us in this very chapter 8 of Science of Getting Rich, which I've been reading now for over 3 years. But isn't it funny how sometimes we don't see things until we repeat them over and over and over and over? We have some different experiences, and then, someone turned the light on, and then you realize it was right in front of me the whole time. Fascinating, isn't it? So let's go ahead and jump into our study. This is chapter 8, Thinking in a Certain Way, and it's going to help us understand how to see powerful things in our futures. This is what chapter 8 says. It says, turn back to chapter 6 and read again the story of the man who formed a mental image of his house, and you will get a fair idea of the initial step toward getting rich. You must form a clear and definite mental picture of what you want. You cannot transmit an idea unless you have it yourself. You must have it before you can give it. And many people fail to impress thinking substance because they have themselves only a vague and misty concept of the things they want to do, to have, or to become. It is not enough that you should have a general desire for wealth to, quote, do good with, close quote. Everybody has that desire. It is not enough that you should have a wish to travel, to see things, live more, etc. Everybody has those desires also. If you were going to send a wireless message to a friend, you would not send the letters of the alphabet in their order and let him construct the message for himself, nor would you take the words at random from the dictionary. You would send a coherent sentence, one which meant something. When you try to impress your wants upon the thinking substance, remember that it must be done by a coherent statement. You must know what you want and be specific and definite. You can never get rich or start the creative power into action by sending out unformed longings and vague desires. Go over your desires, just as the man I have described went over his house. See just what you want and get a clear mental picture of it as you wish it to look when you get it. That clear mental picture you must have continually in mind, as the sailor has in mind the port toward which he is sailing the ship. You must keep your face toward it all the time. You must no more lose sight of it than the helmsman loses sight of the compass. It is not necessary to take exercises in concentration, nor to set apart special times for prayer and affirmation, nor to go into the silence, nor to do occult stunts of any kind. Some of these things are well enough, but all you need is to know what you want and to want it badly enough so that it will stay in your thoughts. Spend as much of your leisure time as you can contemplating your picture, but no one needs to take exercises to concentrate his mind on the thing which he really wants. It is the things you do not really care about which require effort to fix your attention upon them. And unless you really want to get rich so that the desire is strong enough to hold your thoughts directed to the purpose as the magnetic pole holds the needle of the compass, it will hardly be worthwhile for you to try to carry out the instructions given in this book. The methods set forth here are for people whose desire for riches is strong enough to overcome mental laziness and the love of ease and to make them work. The more clear and definite you make your picture then, and the more you dwell upon it, bringing out all its delightful details, the stronger your desire will be. And the stronger your desire, the easier it will be to hold your mind fixed upon the picture of what you want. Little or no power for accomplishment. Behind your clear vision must be the purpose to realize it, to bring it out in tangible expression. And behind this purpose must be an invincible and unwavering faith that the thing is already yours, that it is at hand, and you have only to take possession of it. Live in the new house mentally until it takes form around you, physically. In the mental realm, enter at once into full enjoyment of the things you want. Whatsoever things ye ask for when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them, said Jesus. See the things you want as if they were actually around you all the time. See yourself as owning and using them. Make use of them in imagination just as you will use them when they are your tangible possessions. Dwell upon your mental picture until it is clear and distinct, and then take the mental attitude of ownership toward everything in that picture. Take possession of it in mind, in the full faith that it is actually yours. Hold to this mental ownership. Do not waver for an instant in the faith that it is real. And remember what was said in a preceding chapter about gratitude. Be as thankful for it all the time as you expect to be when it has taken form. The person who can sincerely thank God for the things which as yet he owns only in imagination has real faith. He will get rich. He will cause the creation of whatever he wants. You do not need to pray repeatedly for the things you want. It is not necessary to tell God about it every day. Your part is to intelligently formulate your desire for the things which make for a larger life and to get these desires arranged into a coherent whole. And then to impress this whole desire upon the formless substance which has the power and the will to bring you what you want. You do not make this impression by repeating strings of words. You make it by holding the vision with unshakable purpose to attain it, and with steadfast faith that you do attain it. The answer to prayer is not according to your faith while you are talking, but according to your faith while you are working. You cannot impress the mind of God by having a special Sabbath day set apart to tell him what you want and then forgetting him during the rest of the week. You cannot impress him by having special hours to go into your closet and pray if you then dismiss the matter from your mind until the hour of prayer comes again. Oral prayer is well enough and has its effect, especially upon yourself, in clarifying your vision and strengthening your faith, but it is not your oral petitions which get you what you want. In order to get rich, you do not need a sweet hour of prayer. You need to pray without ceasing. And by prayer, I mean holding steadily to your vision with the purpose to cause its creation into solid form and the faith that you are doing so. Believe that ye receive them. Once you have clearly formed your vision, the whole matter turns on receiving. When you have formed it, it is well to make an oral statement addressing the Supreme in gratitude. Then from that moment on, you must, in mind, receive what you ask for. Live in the new house, wear the fine clothes, ride in the automobile, go on the journey, and confidently plan for greater journeys. Think and speak of all the things you have asked for in terms of actual present ownership. Imagine an environment and a financial condition exactly as you want them, and live all the time in that mental environment and financial condition until they take physical shape. Mind, however, that you do not do this as a mere dreamer and castle builder. Hold to the faith that the imaginary is being realized and to your purpose to realize it. Remember that it is faith and purpose in the use of imagination which make the difference between the scientist and the dreamer. And having learned this fact, it is here that you must learn the proper use of the will. So, my friends, there we have the chapter on thinking in a certain way, and we learn a little bit more insight on how to visualize in a better way. And I remember when I first started practicing this Think and Grow Rich stuff, and I would repeat the major definite purpose and the self-confidence formula. The major definite purpose, if you're familiar with it, it says, by the first day of, and you state the date, I will have in my possession. So you're kind of forecasting it off into the future. And I'll be the first to tell you that works. It worked for me, right? And it's worked for countless numbers of other people. As we move forward in our journeys, as I have moved forward in my journey, I've discovered a few little tweaks that we can do in our visualization process. And I first discovered this following one of my mentors who has accomplished incredible things in his life and in his business. And I remember going through a training where he taught me. He said, what you want to do is put yourself in the future date. So instead of saying by the first day of, you can say something like, it is now the first day of. And then you describe where you're sitting, what you're doing, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, right? What is the evidence of you having achieved whatever it is you see in your mind as your better future? And I started doing this at the first of the year. So it's still very, very similar to having the major definite purpose. It's just that you're stepping into that future date. You're experiencing what it feels like now to have the income, to have the freedom, to feel the feelings of gratitude, to know that you're stepping into something better and you're fulfilling your life's purpose and you're setting an example and you're practicing what you're preaching and you're helping people continually see something better and continually you're just describing this to yourself in the best detail that you possibly can. And what I've done for myself that's helped me tremendously that I took from Dr. Napoleon Hill. We learn in Think and Grow Rich that auto-suggestion is important. It is powerful. It is critical, because one of the things I've learned about the human mind is that naturally we have a tendency to wander. Naturally we have a tendency to kind of forget what we're working on and get distracted. This is just natural stuff. So when Wallace Wattles in this chapter says, it is not necessary to take a special time to think about what you want, that might be true. If you have a burning desire and you're just thinking about it all the time, you might not need to take a special time. For me, I like to take a special time. I like to record my vision, and I just record it. I say it is now the first day of January 2014, and I'm sitting in my black leather office chair, and I'm feeling the smooth surface of my desk with my left hand, and over to the left I see the glow of my desktop computer, and over to the right I see the glow of my laptop computer, and I'm looking at my list of goals. And I'm feeling so grateful as I start to go through these list of goals. And I record myself stepping into this future date, and I listen to it every morning, and I listen to it every night. And as I do this, what I notice in my own personal life is that when I wake up in the morning, I have new ideas. This morning, as a matter of fact, I woke up, I'm working out in the gym, and I'm thinking to myself, hey, I got this new idea for causing what I have in my vision to come to pass. And as I go throughout my day, I'm thinking about the different things, and I'm checking them off my list, and I'm taking action. So for me, this is very, very powerful in helping me to remember what is my better future, why am I working on it, why am I stepping into it, and it's just a powerful thing that I recommend everybody do. I remember hearing a guy who earns over 6 figures a month on a consistent monthly basis, and I think he's actually approaching now multiple 6 figures a month. And I remember him giving this training on commonalities of top earners. He says there's 5 commonalities of top earners, and one of them was visualize your goals every single day, right? This is definitely something top earners do. And before I open up the mastermind portion of the call, I want to share with everyone one new thing that I've been doing in my visualization at the end of my visualization that I believe is helping me a little bit, and I believe it might help you if you add this to the end of your visualization. And this actually I got from my mentor. He says at the end of your visualization, you want to stop and say, and I realize as I look back over the last however many days, I realized this was actually so easy to bring to pass. And he taught me that you want to see the actions that you're going to take and that you are taking as being easy to do. And one of the things that I've done in my visualization that's helped me to understand this is at the end of my visualization, as I'm looking back over my goals and I'm seeing that I've completed, my health goals and my family goals and things I want to do around my house and my monetary goals and my business goals, and I look back and I say, and I realize that this was so easy to do. And the reason why I know it's so easy is because I realize that it's easy to do things that I know that are helping me to fulfill my purpose in life. As a matter of fact, it's easier to do them than it is not to do them. And one of the reasons it's easier to do them is because I know that as I take action in my life, as I perform the activities that I know I need to perform to step into my better future, I get positive feedback from my brain. I get positive feedback from my environment. And I know as I check these things off my list, it's easier to do this stuff than it is not to do them, because I know that there have been times in my life where I've known that I needed to do certain things and I've put them off and I haven't done them, and every single time I do this, I get a feeling of lack of fulfillment. I get a feeling of lack of direction. I get a feeling of failure in my life. I get a feeling of not fulfilling my life's purpose. And this negative feedback is actually a more difficult thing. So it is easier to take action in my business. It is easier to take action in my family. It is easier to have a vision, and it is easier to step into that vision of a better future than it is to not to. And as I've been reminding myself of this, I'm realizing, as you might be now, as you listen to the sound of my voice, that is 100% true. It is easier to have a goal. It is easier to have a dream. It is easier to take action in your business than it is to not take action, to have pain in your life, pain of lack of fulfillment, pain of lack of direction, pain of whatever it is you might have pain. I know for me it was pain of a job. It was pain of suppression. It was pain of not being all I could be. It was pain of people. I literally have this vision in my mind. It felt like, my big boss had his thumb out, was sticking it on my head and pushing me down into the ground. I remember that feeling, and it was painful. So as I think back and as I think about my goal, it's harder. It really, truly is harder to not have a dream and not go after your dreams. And as I've been reminding myself of this, for me, it's been helping me to take action in my business, and it might help you. So, my friends, this is powerful stuff. I'm excited to hear your thoughts and insights as we mastermind on what we've heard today. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the lines. Just a couple of reminders. This is not a company-specific call, so please do not mention company names, system names, leader names unless the leaders are on the call, part of our mastermind community. And also do endeavor to be brief and relevant in your comments, as we do have hundreds of people on the call who would like to share. One moment. Star 6, who's first?
Hello.
Yes, who's that?
Hi, Shakita.
Hey, Shakita, good morning.
I just I'm going to try to be brief, but I just really enjoy this call so much. I kind of have the same story that you have, that I've been in my current marketing business, I would probably honestly say about 2 years, and I've probably really made no money compared to some of the other people, but I've gotten a whole lot of self-development and personal development, and just kind of getting those things out of my head first. And this morning, right as I was getting on the call, I was just beating myself up because of a decision that I chose not to take, and I kept putting it off and it really came back to bite me. And, as I got on the call and you were just kind of talking, and I'm just like, that is so it. That's what other people in my company, they're doing. They are recording themselves and they're listening to it and they're saying it every day. But it's really about action. It really is. And it's a whole lot easier, I see now, to take action instead of to not take that action. And so I'm so glad I got on this call, because I totally would have missed that for today. And that's exactly what I needed. So thank you so much, and I'll let somebody else come in.
Thank you, Shakita. Powerful thoughts, my friend.
Hey, this is Mike.
Hey, Paul, Jason in Alabama.
Dan in Dunedin.
And sure.
I heard three male voices.
Hey,
there
Mike
was
Chicago.
Jason in Alabama.
Jason,
Mike
go ahead.
Chicago.
I heard your name.
Hey, Paul, this is Jason. I just wanted to cover a couple of things real quick. I'm actually a certified hypnotherapist, and one of the powerful statements that you can use for future pacing is...
Oh.
Hey, Jason, let me clear the lines. I want to make sure we hear you clearly here. Just Jason, star 6, just Jason.
Hey,
Jason,
Paul,
you there?
are you there?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Oh, okay, great. I'm actually a certified hypnotherapist, and one of the most powerful statements that you can use to do what's called future pacing, which is to put yourself mentally and emotionally into a time in the future, is to ask yourself, how excited and fulfilled am I now looking back on today as being the beginning of the things that I needed to do in order to reach my goals? So as we're working through all of these things to build a better future and to set these wonderful, amazing goals to allow us to see these things manifest in our life, just keep in mind that the more emotion that you can put into something, the more powerful that thought becomes. And I'm going through and I'm studying Think and Grow Rich and the Science of Getting Rich and a couple of other things. And the thing that jumped out to me yesterday in some stuff that I was reading is focus on the why, and the how will actually happen automatically. And it's so easy for us to get mired down in the, oh my gosh, how is it going to happen? How am I going to be able to meet these goals? How am I going to be able to do these amazing things? Don't do that. That is a huge waste of your energy. Pour that energy into the why, into the emotion. Why do you want to be free? Why do you want to hit these goals? Once you can lock yourself into that deep emotional state and continue to build on that and access it multiple times a day, man, that right there is where the magic happens, man.
Powerful stuff, Jason. Thank you so much for sharing that. Dan, I heard
Dan
Dan.
and
Are you
Dunedin.
there, Dan?
John in
Thank you.
Matthew.
All right, I got Dan and then John. Go ahead, Dan.
I am so glad I had a chance to hear the hypnotherapist insight, because it is so important to hear it again and again and again. And it's so important, like Paul says, to read it aloud again, and again. I'm still a practitioner of this and will always be a practitioner of this. The keys that I'm learning are here today, and it is that energy, that passion of formulating your why. And so I really appreciate all of this, and it is true that we need to visualize our goals on a daily basis. I don't want to ramble on, but I did want to point out that I've been going through a lot of struggles, and until I write down my goals and read them aloud and have passion and joy in accomplishing them, they're just going to be notations on paper. So it is so important to put that energy of passion into it, knowing that I can be better through the evidence that I had already experienced in my past. I know that I've already made a better journey. So as I celebrate those victories, I can move forward with the goals, realizing I'm stepping into my future of achieving those victories. So I celebrate the small, edify it, and bring it right back to point as I envision my future goal today. Back to you.
Awesome stuff, Dan. Appreciate you, man. John Chapman, John Blaze.
Aaron from Chicago.
Mike from Chicago.
Good morning, my friends. This is your boy, John Blaze Chapman. And I've got to tell you, out of all of the trainings that we receive and that we share, that we implement here on the Think and Grow Rich call, there is probably none more essential, more powerful than the idea, than the technology of having a major definite purpose. And just a little bit about what it's been able to do for me and what it's been able to do for my friends and for my team and for everyone that I know that actually takes this stuff seriously. There's obviously we all know that there is a thinking stuff. And by implementing this major definite purpose, by reciting it in the morning and then going through the visualizations in the evening over a prolonged period of time, what it does, and especially with a high emotional value in what it is that you are saying, what it does is that it draws the energy from the universe, from the ether, that is going to work for you, that is going to place in your way, in your path, that which is necessary for you to achieve your major definite purpose. What I like to do on a personal basis is I like to base mine on a quarterly timetable. So within about 7 to 8 days, we are going to be stepping into October 1st. Now, I will, 2 days prior to that, I will start to work on mine. And then 1 day prior to that, I will complete it. So that on October 1st, through the rest of the year, I will have one definite major purpose. Literally. Well, and that just as it pertains to business. Then I will have, I will incorporate that along with personal goals, interpersonal relationship goals with my family, physical goals, and then by implementing on a daily basis that which I most desire, and that's the key. It cannot be a wishy-washy type of thing. You have to want this, you have to want this, you have to want this, you have to want this. You have to go to sleep and you have to wake up with whatever your purpose is on your mind. And when you do that, it's almost like magic, but we know what it truly is that it's the thinking stuff aligning itself with the other like energies. When you do this and you put your nose to the grindstone, the pedal to the metal, so to speak, and you work your ass off in order to make that happen, there are circumstances that come into your life where you have no idea. Like for myself on a personal basis, over the course of the last month, I've been blessed in so many incredible ways with the relationships that have been formed. Literally, people calling me out of nowhere in order to develop business relationships, and that will serve to fulfill my major definite purpose. So the thing that I really want to stress to you guys and gals is that make it happen. Set your MVP for the last quarter so that you can step into 2014 having just completed the best 90 days in your life, because that is my full intention, and it should be for you too. Back to you, Paul.
Great stuff, John. Thank you, sir. Aaron, I heard Aaron from Chicago. I thought. Aaron or
it's
Michael?
It's Elvire.
Mike from Chicago?
Shirley.
Okay, gotcha.
Aaron from Chicago.
Oh, is that Aaron from Chicago?
Aaron.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm listening for a couple of weeks. First time I've been able to get through on the call, but I just wanted to say I enjoyed what I heard this morning, and it made me think about the phrase that I commonly use in my coaching practice, which is a dream deferred is not a dream denied, and that goes hand in hand to what Chapter 8 was talking about, asking according to the faith, while instead of asking in faith and believing while you're doing the work. I strongly believe that if we continue to work our businesses and have that faith that we're going to be able to have what it is that we see, then that dream is on the way. Sometimes we believe that the dream isn't there because it hasn't come when we wanted it to, but it's really given us the strength to overcome our obstacles so that we're ready for the dream when it finally does arrive. So I just wanted to share that with the audience, and I definitely want to say I'm enjoying these calls, and I will continue to be on these calls. Back to you.
Very awesome. Thank you so much. Michael, I got you over here in the queue. Michael, you there?
Yes,
Mike.
I am. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Good morning.
Yeah. It's awesome to be on this call for the first time. I've been listening, but never really had a chance to break through because I usually drive, but things are kind of slow on the road. So, man, Paul, just thank you so much, man. This information you brought down today, you know, from a biblical perspective, and that's kind of where I come from a lot of times. It says, you know, we have to, you know, open our mouth and confess the things we believe. And I think there's something about the power of confession. When you hear yourself say the things you want, you know, to happen in your life, it just turns things up a notch. And I'm just very excited to go forward in what we're doing here. And I just really appreciate, you know, everything that's going on with this call every morning. And that's pretty much it for now. I'll try to come back another time with more perspective, but I'm just happy to be on, and I'm just in agreement with what's being said today.
Awesome, Mike. Thanks for being here, man. Elvira, thanks for your patience. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning. It's great. Thank you so much. Hi, good morning. Wonderful Thinking We're Rich family. Well, as Jason said, as a hypnotherapist, I'm a hypnotherapist as well. We are vibration, we are emotion, we're energy. He talked about energy. I always like to bring it back to the emotion because emotion is energy in motion. That's what we've got to remember. We're energy in motion, so we got to keep it moving all the time. Most important that just think of the bullet train, you know, you get faster to where you want to go because the attraction factor is higher. The more excited you are about your goal, about what it is that you want, the higher you vibrate, your emotion is much higher, your energy is much higher, so you attract it more and faster to yourself. And the question is, why don't you do it? I mean, what's the payoff for not doing it? Well, we all know what it is. It's just getting stuck in the muck, right? So push yourself through it. Do what Paul suggested. Just listen to this call again and write down the words that he uses and put your own words in it. But the most important thing is to feel it as if you already have it. That may be something very difficult, and somebody gave me a tip and said, suppose Oprah Winfrey is going to, or somebody who you very much admire as a TV person, is going to interview you when you are so very successful. And this person is going to ask you, so tell me what you did and tell me how that feels. And then you put the emotion in all of that, and that gets you in a higher state of excitement, of emotion, talking about your success. And that's the emotion that you want to put onto the goal where you want to go. That's it.
Perfect. Elvira, thank you.
Hey, Paul Cater.
All right, Shirley, go ahead, Shirley, and then Cater.
Hey, y'all know that I'm really new at this, so, you know, things aren't coming in yet, but I look at stuff every day. And when I go out in public, I have my book with me. I'm reading where I link to my physical therapist, my book and arm.
Hey, Shirley, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Could you speak into the mic a little bit more? Or?
Yeah. I'm working the stuff, although, you know, it's new, so I'm still waiting for things to, you know, be clear. But I'm facing it and I'm working it. But yesterday, after some spiritual growth, I was talking to somebody and they started telling me their concerns now about how I'm really focused on the stuff and I'm not like making any money and I need to go get a real job and then as he stuttered and God came out, seems like you're putting all your eggs in one basket. Oh my God, I lit up like a Christmas tree. I was so excited when she said that. It was like, yeah, of course I am. But she didn't get it, you know, but that's okay. That's okay. But I left and I went home and I stayed up till like after 2 a.m. working on my workshop because I am excited. I know this is going to happen. And little are happening. But I keep visualizing it. And
Shirley, we're losing you again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Got me okay now? Okay?
Yeah. It could be better, but anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, I was so excited that when she said that to me because although she thought I was a total mistake, I know that this is going to work. I know it. I feel it. I see it. I visualize it. And one more visualization thing. I'm trying to get
I live in a small town, and I keep telling my bankers about my dream and my excitement. And the other day I went with ripped pieces of checks from my past that had big figures on them. And I showed them all these figures I carry in my wallet and I look at daily. It's just all kind of crazy, but it's going to work for me. And so keep visualizing, everybody. Back to you.
Surely awesome. You keep having the faith. That's great. Just Cater, *6, Cater. Come on out, man.
Hey, Paul, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Absolute awesome Mondays. I just love Monday. Just to get back on this call, it's just totally awesome to get this information. It's so powerful. I mean, earlier you was talking about the Bible. I love the Bible. In the book, the Bible, back in the days in the Old Testament, they used to refer to prophets. Prophets, these are people that can see. They were people that could see visions. They could see things before they actually happened back in the stories in the Bible. So usually people would go to the prophets to find out what God is going to do or what's going to happen because they can see what other people can't see. And that's why I love this call, because when you can come on it, you can find leaders who can actually see things that you don't realize yet with your mind and can put that and caulk that understanding inside of you where you can grow that mindset and you really become a prophet, where you can actually see things before they happen. Right now when I speak with people, they think I'm nuts. It's like I visualize things like crazy. I could see where I'm going to be in the next 2 years or in the next 3 years. I mean, this stuff is powerful. It's powerful when you could do it daily, when you can see exactly what you want. You can know exactly where you're going, and your mind grows so much. One thing I always tell people is that in this business, in this online business, I mean, for my own experience, I haven't been online for a long time. I don't have the story of Paul. I'm kind of brand new to this thing. So I'm actually getting a lot from you guys. So this is one of the reasons I love coming to this call, because I'm pouring so much from all the leaders and everybody that's speaking from this call, because this stuff is brand new to me, right? So one thing I always tell people is that coming to this call and working on my mindset, reading these books, what came to my understanding is that after my mind grows so much, after reading this book, going through the process, reading, listening to Paul reading and reading at the same time, listening to the audio while I'm reading, while I'm going to sleep, is that my mind grows so much that my business had no choice but to catch up to my mind. So when your mind gets to a point that it grows so much, your business, whatever you're doing, it has no choice but to catch up to your mindset. So I felt that is the same thing that happened to Paul in 2010 when he went back to the book, that he grows so much that his business has no choice but to catch up to your mind. So if I want to give any advice to anybody that's on the call, read the book. Come to the mindset call. Read it. Listen to it. Get the information however you can into your mind. And as your mind grows so much, your business will have no choice but to catch up to your mind. Back to you, Paul.
Well,
you are awesome, man.
Good morning, my friend. Oh, Mr. Hutchins, how are you?
I'm great, Rick. How are you, man?
Man, I'm just fired up. It's so exciting that you come out so convicted. The attitude, the energy just light me up, my friend. It's incredible. That concept you came out with this morning, and you tell that you're really thinking about this stuff, and when you said, you got to see it in your mind before you believe it, man. That was incredible. A really astute observation. And that goes to show that thinking really is the hardest stuff to do, and anything that's worthwhile, it's going to take some effort. There was a guy, the guy who was guiding the General Motors research division. His name was Charles Kettering. He had something. Kettering said, a problem well stated is a problem half solved. You see, when you start to write down your major definite purpose, and you're ready, you're setting up yourself for a purpose, something, an aim in life that you want to achieve. And once you write that down, once you know where you're going, the journey is just an enjoyment and how things just manifest into your life once you focus on it. So without really having a purpose, somebody said your day will always end in disintegration. You see, when you have a purpose each day, when you get up, you get energized. You know, at the end of the day, you still feel energized. You know, it's not like some people go to work, they don't like what they're doing, and they come home tired. But when you have a purpose, when you love what you're doing, you just get that energy for some reason that you can keep on going. You can work, and you're just enjoying it because it's really not work. It's a process that's known to take you to a place where you know where you're going, when you have a purpose. So, Mr. Hutchins, back to you, my friend, and have a day filled with optimism.
Love it, Rick. Thank you. That was a late. Yes. Hey, Julie. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, hello, everyone. Hi, Paul. I love visualizing, and forever I'm such a daydreamer. And there's such a difference between daydreaming and visualizing and like really embodying. And then, you can crash from those highs of feeling like you embodied it, and then Shirley, you're so cute. Then there's that sensation that comes through of like, oh, I'm not getting anywhere, and you can feel devastated. Yesterday, I had the honor of being in the presence of Dr. Bernice King, who is Martin Luther King's daughter, and she rang her voice through our city streets in the pouring rain. We had a historical event of reconciliation between Native elders who were abused through being removed from their families. 150,000 Canadian Native Aboriginals were removed, and there was never an apology. All that history was swept under the rug. But yesterday, this one elder's dream came true to have 10,000 people of all races holding hands walking through our downtown, which is Native territory. And I'm going to put that speech in our group, because when she spoke of how her father had a dream, as we all know, and he could have hated white people and curled up in a corner and died. And yet he stood there, willing to sacrifice his life to get that message and that dream and that vision into reality. And we all have dreams inside of our pain. The pain is where the breakthrough is, and all of our dreams connect around the world. And I just want to say, do not give up on your dream, as Paul always says. And you have a purpose, and you can break through no matter how devastating and how easy it is to slide back into the feelings of failure and not finding your way. This is another thing she said was, when we stand up and decide our vision and our dream to be real, it's just the beginning.
Julie, thank you for sharing that. So powerful. You are awesome. Is that Ray?
Yeah, it's Ray Briggs. How you doing?
Hey, man. Good morning. I've been telling everyone about you in my life lately. Go ahead.
Oh, man. I like it. I'll take it. Hey, 60 seconds, I'm in and out. Man, John Blaze Chapman said something I just had a breakthrough. When he said fourth quarter, y'all know I'm a basketball guy. I'm a sports guy. All right, when he said fourth quarter, I had a flashback. I was working the San Antonio Spurs basketball camp, and a mental performance coach came in and was talking about how, as coaches, sometimes we tell kids, focus and concentrate and all this stuff like that, but they never know how to do that. And Paul, when you was talking about being so descriptive in your visualization of feeling the way your chair felt when you was at your desk and when you was into your future and you was feeling the way your desk felt and everything like that, this little tip he gave me, and when John said fourth quarter, I was like, I can do this in my business. And when he said fourth quarter, the mental performance coach was saying we've all had that feeling of when we felt like, we were on fire or we were unstoppable or, couldn't nobody stop us or, we were just at the top of our game when we knew what that feeling was like. And he said in sports, when you walk into a gym, he says this is what you tell kids to do. When you walk into a gym, find a spot. If it's a basketball court, find it like a corner on the backboard. If it's a soccer field, find the back of the net. If it's a foot, wherever it is, find one spot on that field that's going to be there every single time. Well, I was like, my business, let me find this one spot in my office. every single time. And when I look at that spot, I'm going to trigger that emotion of what it felt like to be on fire, unstoppable, on the top of my game. And when you can trigger that emotion as you're stating your major definite purpose and seeing yourself in that better future, then all of a sudden that emotion is just going to allow you to go ahead and take action in such a productive way where you're going to be able to bear fruit on the action that you're taking. So I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but when John said fourth quarter and Paul was talking about the way he felt when he was at his desk and the chair and all that stuff like that, it clicked for me. I was like, okay, this is transferable. So I just had that, and I just wanted to share with you guys. Mental performance is just crazy. So thank you guys very much. Back to you.
Ray, I love you, man. That was awesome and so powerful. And everyone, what a great call. I want to close out since Ray was the last commenter on the call. I want to close out by sharing with everyone again one of the things that Ray said on our call last week. He said there are two things that make you feel alive: growing and giving. And isn't it the truth, my friends, that one of the great purposes, it seems to me, one of the great purposes of life, regardless of what religious background you have, regardless of, whatever philosophy you have, doesn't it seem that one of the great purposes of life is to grow? And isn't it so cool to know that it is your purpose to see something better? It is your purpose to have something better. It is your purpose to take action in life. And isn't it so cool to know that that's one of the reasons we can never quit, my friend? We should never quit. We should never quit growing. We can never stop because it's the purpose of life. I'm so grateful to be aligned with all of you who understand that and who are committed to fulfilling our purposes here on this planet, which is to grow, to get better, to see something better, to cause our light to shine a little bit brighter, to impact another person, to help someone see something that maybe they didn't see before, to help someone realize that they can't quit. They can't quit because they'd be not fulfilling their purpose in life if they did. So, my friends, I love you guys. Thank you for being here on this call. Thank you for being a part of being a great movement in the world. And I just want to challenge everyone, never give up on your dreams, my friends. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning on Think and Grow Rich call. Bye for now.